I found a guy who can't speak a word of truth. Let's watch this video.
This term sanctuary city doesn't have a sole legal or procedural definition. You can look in Georgia statute and you can find a clear definition for a unified government. You can look in contractual language and you can find out exactly what it means to be an SEC institution. Sanctuary city doesn't track with either of those. And so that term means different things to different people depending on the context of the discussion.
So sanctuary cities doesn't have a real definition is what he's saying. He's the mayor of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia. That's right. This is where the young girl, Laken Riley, was murdered by another migrant. Someone with a long history of arrests, assaults. And yet, we allowed him into America without screening him. Went to New York, left New York, went to Georgia, found this girl for no reason, killed her. And this mayor, who realizes that sanctuary cities are the problem here, is basically trying to defend the idea of sanctuary cities by saying, well, there's no definition for it, and each city gets to kind of do what they feel is necessary in order to be a sanctuary city. Well, what happened is he was met by some very angry protesters. They are parents of children there in Athens County. And the news media gave this very little coverage. Mainstream media, hardly anything at all. But the left did cover they covered the title, but they didn't show this video. So we had to go to different news outlets in order to try to put this together to show you exactly what's happening there in Athens, Georgia, but really all around the country. These people are pretty much heartless, and they could care a lick about anyone but their own. Now, I would wish nothing evil on anyone, even on this poor gentleman. We're going to look at another clip in just a moment. I don't wish evil on him. But if evil of this nature had visited upon his family, I wonder what his response would have been then, instead of the way it is now. Let's look at this next clip.
Many of the elements.
Liar.
Many of the elements.
Liar. Liar.
We are here to listen.
Liar.
You're a liar.
We are here to listen.
Liar.
There'll be time for questions.
You are guilty and got blood on your head for this murder, sir.
Many of the aspects that are ascribed to sanctuary cities
We know what sanctuary
are
cities
things
mean.
that are disallowed by Georgia law.
Sanctuary policy, which is what we do.
And we contribute a document every year to the Georgia Department of Audits indicating that we do not correspond to these definitions under state law.
Yes, you do.
And no policies have been adopted by the
Please
mayor and
stop lying.
commission
You're
that have
insulting
created
our
sanctuary
intelligence.
city status in
Sir,
Athens.
You need to resign.
One protocol that sometimes arises.
Resign!
Resign now.
You allowed
protocol.
this to happen, sir.
One protocol that
You
sometimes
voted for
arises.
this.
See, you can't fool the people for too long, because people will rise up. They know what a sanctuary city is. They know Athens, Georgia is a sanctuary city. But yet this mayor is facing these people. He's being called a liar. You can hear it. Everybody's calling him a liar. They won't even let him talk. And he's trying to say that under Georgia law, they don't ascribe to any of the things about sanctuary cities. But yet they still are one. But he's denying it straight out, lying bold-facedly straight out that they do not support the idea of sanctuary cities, but yet they are one. How does the left get away with this? The way to get away with it is people don't get a chance to see these kind of videos. The majority of the fake media won't show this stuff. They won't tell you this. And that's why there's people like me and others out there who try to disseminate and get this information out so you could tell your friends and your family and other voters what's really happening around the nation. Let's look at the next clip.
There's been no legislation from this government that has created sanctuary city status. I also mentioned the prospect of federal legislation. What I'd like to note is that here in Athens-Clarke County, we center our work in the public sector.
You need to go, sir. We don't want to hear from you no more. You're not defending us. You're not upholding your oath of office, sir. You are lawless. You are a criminal.
Again, this mayor tries to get away with lying, and this one guy, and his name is James Lee. He's the father of 5. And he realized that only by the grace of God was Laken Riley not his child. It could have been his. And he is infuriated, as are the others in the room. You hear the other parents yelling out also, liar, liar, you know. I don't think this is going to end well for this man, this politician. They think they can get away with it, but I think they're poking the bear.
You might remember the dynamic we were living in the late teens in this country,
Here it is.
where you had the President of the United States speaking in the most vile terms about people who were foreign born.
See what it's all about? They turn everything around. If you remember in the late teens, we were living under this. Do you understand? He didn't say Trump's name, but he was saying that they were, speaking poorly about those who need and come to America. He's trying to defend sanctuary cities, although he's claiming that he's not a sanctuary city, and yet he's blaming it all on Trump. This is ridiculous.
And you had that notion metastasizing in places like
This
Charlottesville.
is an invasion.
See, the notion of Trump, had metastasized, and it's grown and it's expanded. MAGA, if you say, make America great again, you are a danger to their America, because in their mind, it should be filled with migrants. People should be able to do whatever they want. There should be no repercussions for those kinds of crime, only for the most extreme. Is it murder the most extreme? An innocent young girl who is doing nothing gets murdered? That's not most extreme? And yet they look at the smirk on his face. Look at the smirk on this guy's face. I can only pray that this man never gets back into office again.